Jamie, and I live at East Frederick Avenue, 2832 East Frederick, Fresno, California. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to attend any sort of a Fresno city type of a decision-making organization. I have lived here. I'm an immigrant. I lived in the Midwest. I came to Fresno, graduated from one of the high schools here, and moved out of Fresno after getting my degrees from Fresno State. So I can say most of my life I have lived here. Since what I remember, I also sang in the choir of Holy Trinity for decades, ever since the day I arrived, to begin with. So that area has been a sore sight. I'm an artist, actually, not practicing right now because I have been a single mom for 20-some years. So my kids are artistic. I worked at Proteus at one point for about 4 years, nonprofit organization downtown. I went to Arte Americas. I've gone to different places throughout. I have attended Art Hop many times. There's an African American museum. Arte Americas is a beautiful place. Where is the Armenian beautiful place? I believe an international type of community that we have here should thrive because I am an international person. I have lived at different places. To encourage art and history, I think the Armenian community has been left out. So Vara Samuelian was someone I had visited while I worked at community hospital while paying myself cash, actually attending Fresno State. So I know a lot about the community. All my adult life, I had heard about, yeah, we're talking to Fresno City Council about Armenian Town. I'm over 50. Come on, am I gonna die? Many of my family members have died in the past so many years, and still nothing has happened. I believe we gotta do something about it. I really appreciate you guys being really sympathetic, having equity, and having multicultural, multiracial community that we live in here. I think it's important for the whole community to have this as an educational location as well. So I think it's important for us to strive to really, it looks horrible when I went to church after the fire. I go, wow, I felt like, okay, our ancestors were killed in fires and here we are, our homes are now being destroyed by fire. So give it some value. I appreciate all the cultures here because I think it's important for the whole community, the kids to learn as they go through the K through 12. They should come and visit Armenian Town, not just certain areas, So this should be part of the local community curriculum, in fact. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, of course, but, that's another time, I guess. But I appreciate you guys really actually allowing us to speak. This is very refreshing. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go on up.
I'll make mine short and sweet. My name is Christy Malikian Anderson, and I am a grandchild of one of the owners of the homes. My grandparents came here in the 1940s. They were refugees from World War II. They were also Armenian genocide survivors. And we were really excited to hear that the city of Fresno was going to be taking our home, our family home, and preserving it and making an Armenian museum and making it a historical area. Well, that excitement it turned very quickly to disappointment because, as you guys are all aware, those homes were completely neglected. Vagrants had moved in, they were not secured, and over time, they burnt down. And that was a piece of history, not only just for my family, for the entire community. It's just really sad to see, that the city just completely neglected it, and they, basically just disregarded the piece of history that's Fresno. My grandparents specifically moved to that part of town because it was Armenian Town. They had the support of the church that was down the street. They had the support of other family members or, community members. So, on behalf of my family, we just want to thank you for taking the time to, look into this, to try to preserve this. I mean, it was just really sad to see these homes were completely bare bones. They weren't even hooked up to plumbing. They weren't hooked up to electrical. They were just shells of homes. And so it was really sad to see that nothing was taken and the city completely disregarded Armenian history. And it's kind of like they're just trying to erase what was part of Fresno. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public?
I got one more.
Okay, come on up. Name and address for the record again?
Yes, Manuel Lara, 721 East Vassar, Fresno 93704. And my experience with the neighborhood, unfortunately, was of more recent history. I worked for years at the old Fresno Oxygen at M in Monterey, so I would pass this site pretty much every morning. And on multiple occasions, it was real common to see vagrants past the fencing. And it was really, as unfortunate as it is to say, a matter of time before something did happen. I know it's easier said than done. Of course, there's budgetary issues, but the first step to, of course, remake anything on that side of town and to encourage investment is definitely going to be to hopefully secure the area and perhaps address some of the vagrancy issues that kind of go into what was spoken about earlier about the window replacement on the Beckins building. My company also had many issues with vagrants, cutting fences, breaking water lines, stuff like that. So for us to invest in that side of town, I think we first need to address the security issue and also perhaps look at maybe hyping up the William Saroyan connection. I spent my formative years in Salinas, which has a strong Steinbeck connection. And that is something that the city has definitely owned now and tried to use to encourage tourism and investment in the community. So of course there's many other Armenians that contributed to Fresno history and founding Fresno, but that would definitely be a broader connection to perhaps bring in some more people to visit that side of town. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any online hands up at this point? Okay. Come on up. Name and address for the record, sir.
My name is Juan Arambula. I live at 235 West Ridgepoint Drive, Fresno 93711. My father lived on the catty corner to that property as a student when he was an immigrant to this country. I was baptized, wed, and I'll probably be buried in the church that's right on that corner. And I'm very intimately involved in politics on the west side and just generally politics in terms of social welfare and the community at large. And so this is a little troubling to me because as I read Councilman Carbasi said, Armenians are always getting the crumbs. And so there's two things here. There's a commission that I hope and I suspect will probably rubber stamp and approve the historical designation of that area. But the focal point of that are these homes. And the question remains what this commission is willing to do, what power they have, what authority they're willing to flex and demonstrate to be advocates for our community, to be advocates for historical preservation and enhancements in that area. Because at this point, what I'm hearing is that we should do this and we should do that, and we'll go cupping hat in hand to the city government, whether it's to the council or to the mayor, and say, this is what we would like. That's not what I'm looking for from a historical preservation commission. I need advocacy. What you heard here behind us, there's a lot more there. The Armenian population you normally hear about are like the developers you saw here earlier today, but this is a very grassroots community type concern that part of our historical presence is totally diminished and being disregarded as not relevant.